And welcome back to another episode of the Geek Centurions. It's me, your boy Eli, without my hat.
And it's me, Joe.
Don't worry, I'm gonna put a hat on in a minute. But anyways, I don't know why I said that. For the other listeners, they're not gonna notice that.
I mean, yeah, I guess.
I mean, whatever. I'll put it on anyway. We're back to talk about more What If. We're having a very marvelous series of episodes coming out soon. Good after this, we're talking about Shang-Chi.
Yeah.
Not this episode, but the next episode.
Yeah, because I mean, by the time of recording, Shang-Chi isn't out yet. It'll be out probably
Next week.
Next week, yeah. So.
And the following week we'll have ourselves something to talk about. Shang-Chi. Hopefully we can get Kellen back in because he really is excited for that movie.
Yeah.
And obviously we are too. But before that we gotta talk about What If episodes 2 and 3. I think right now this is probably their most creative thing they've come out with. Marvel Studios.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's sort of the whole point of What If. I think, obviously, the premise itself is just sort of like doing a lot of exploring like a what if scenarios of various things, and I think, obviously, the first episode sort of took a bit more of a sort of like a
very safe route.
Yeah, I guess very sort of safe route in terms of what if Peggy Carter took the super soldier serum.
Mm-hmm.
And these two episodes are definitely more, I would say, kind of out there.
Especially the third episode.
Yeah.
And I will say, it's interesting that we're talking about that, because like, I had a conversation with someone the other day who started watching What If, and they haven't seen most of the MCU films. So when he saw the first episode, he didn't have much of an attachment to it. He felt like he was missing out on some stuff, and he wanted to eventually check out the movies that's inspired by. But he felt like it was alright. It's because the thing is, like, we know who Peggy Carter is. You don't really have to, emphasize her character at all.
Mm-hmm.
So that's something that I think, people who don't know to maybe check out. I mean, it sucks that you have to do kind of a bit of homework, but that might be more of him than anyone else, though.
Right.
I will say that. But going into this now, we're talking about these two episodes. The first episode, the first of the two, what if T'Challa became Star-Lord?
Mm-hmm.
And essentially, the whole premise of the what if is that what if, Yondu wasn't the one to pick up Peter Quill. It was his lackeys, and they ended up picking up T'Challa by accident.
Yeah, and Yondu's very much like, you idiot! Don't you realize these two look completely different? It's like, well, whatever. We found him near like this weird, signature. I mean, if he's not like who the person we're looking for, then clearly,
Yeah.
Yeah, because to them, all humans look alike, which I don't know. I guess it's kind of funny. But no, the main it's
even funnier because it's coming from that one guy who actually looks human.
Yeah, it's not coming from a Taserface or any other of the aliens on board of the Ravengers. But T'Challa as well is very much sort of I guess expresses like his want to sort of explore, see the outside world.
So yeah, he eventually wants to like leave Wakanda and explore the world, kind of stuff. And because since Yondu and them now got him, they're like, kid, we like you, taking you with us.
Yeah, and that's sort of where T'Challa does become Star-Lord, and he's
far better Star-Lord.
Yeah, he's definitely he's definitely a better Star-Lord in that everybody knows who he is, and he's sort of seen as a galactic hero of sorts. Like they recreate the scene from the first like the opening from the first Guardians of the Galaxy. We have Jesus, I'm gonna look up his name real quick.
Yeah, go for it.
But you keep
the guy who's known for saying like who when Star-Lord names his name, he actually knows T'Challa is Star-Lord, and he really like fangirls out the whole time. He's like, "Oh my God, you're Star-Lord, the Star-Lord," and he gets he's all full of emotions, and then T'Challa's like, "Dude, it's okay, man, just chill. Like, yeah, I'm Star-Lord, but like, Just relax. It's okay, buddy. It's okay. Like some kind of a guy would do with what I would imagine if Chadwick Boseman was still with us would do whenever he meets like a fan. But essentially, they fight for a bit. The guy makes a note that any chance I can join you guys, like you guys got an opening. But Child's like, nah, we don't. But later on, he's like, you know what? Come on, come with us. And he's part of the crew now, and they're doing all this cool stuff. And we're really also hearing the stories of how T'Challa essentially became like
Korath, by the way.
Korath.
Yeah.
Korath. Okay. Detailing the events that he's been a part of, the good that he's done, the lives he saved, all the stuff that he prevented, and weirdly enough, and this is what I'm saying, like this is something I wish the What If was about. I'm not saying that the story that we got was bad, because I genuinely enjoyed the story. T'Challa convinced Thanos not to wipe out half the universe.
Yeah. We have Thanos just showing up. He's part of the Ravengers, and he's sort of like, I'm cool now, guys. Don't worry about it. But I mean,
listen,
my plan though.
A plan.
Still kind of, when you really think about it, it's like, here we go again. Thanos. Oh, silly Thanos.
Oh, silly Thanos wanting to wipe out half the universe. Wanting to commit genocide. It's like, no. It's not genocide. It's just efficient.
Yeah.
It's like, kind of. I mean, that's the joke, and they at least play that off like 3 times.
Yeah. It's I do kind of agree with you. Not in terms of like just an entire What If episode just based on that, but just like I just kind of want to see that scene go down,
because like a lot of people, especially like I know a lot of people that really like love Infinity War, but they said like, man, they kind of wish they would have a scene where like someone was arguing to Thanos, like, hey, your plan isn't really that good. They can counter it, and have basically a full on debate. But I mean, I've always argued that wouldn't make any sense because he's known as the Mad Titan. Like, you can't reason with him, even if like he is mad for suggesting such a thing, and he is mad for going through it, despite the fact that there is probably a better solution. Like, everyone's like, why doesn't he just like snap twice to space and twice to resource? And I'm not like, yeah, but then he wouldn't be the Mad Titan. Like, he wouldn't be the bad guy.
Yeah, no.
The fact that he wants to snap half of the universe is the reason why he's the villain. Now, granted, I still would have loved to see T'Challa convince him, like, hey, man, hey. Take a seat. Let's suck this out.
Yeah, I mean, that is, like, an inherently interesting scene to see happen. And we also, you get to see Nebula as well.
With blonde hair. And I don't know, just something about the color of it or the way it looks. Just Nebula with hair just feels really weird to me. Not saying Nebula with hair is a bad thing, because I've always known her with the blue hair. Mm-hmm. But like, it just, I don't know, something about this. I don't know. It doesn't feel right.
Yeah, it is a little weird. But basically, Nebula is here to sort of propose to T'Challa.
Cha-Cha.
Yeah, she does call him Cha-Cha.
I want to see why that's the reason. I
mean, there's probably a good explanation for that. But
we do not have time for that explanation because we have to go to the point. It's the plot.
Yeah, because, Nebula's like, hey, I want to plan a heist. The Collector, who's now this big bad boss, now that Thanos is no longer bad in the universe, the Collector has these seeds of Genesis, I believe they're called. Mm-hmm. So that can basically just sprout plant life and help produce food for like thousands of worlds and stuff. Sort of end hunger on a lot of different worlds. And Nebula's like, let's get this. All right, this is probably going to be the biggest job we got. And Yondu is like, no, we can't go up against the Collector. That dude's crazy. All right, he's like a psychopath.
But like, the child's like, hey, yeah, but let's fuck it, let's go for it.
Yeah, like, listen, this is what we do. All right, we help people, right? I actually remember that sort of Yondu's like, all right, I get it. We're like, that one dude from the stories on your planet, Robin whatever, like
Robin Hood.
Well, yeah, same thing.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah. Yondu's very much like, I can't say no to you, kid. All right.
Let's do this.
Let's count.
You've worn me down.
Yeah.
Not really.
So basically, the Ravengers plan a distraction, to distract the Black Order, who now works for the Collector, while Nebula, Yondu go in with T'Challa in a crate to like sort of be like, we got something to sell to you, Collector. And through the distraction, T'Challa will be able to escape and try to find the seeds of Genesis. But he does get a little lost because, frankly, the Collector's collection is
huge. It's a lot.
Yeah, it's just gigantic.
He runs into Howard the Duck, who's like, "Can you lead me through?" And he's like, "Yeah, sure, but let me just get a drink."
Yeah, which is it is nice to see Howard
Good old
the Duck
Howard.
like get a bit more of just like a one-liner and like maybe a couple cameos, like actually have like a bit more of a speaking role.
Mm.
You know.
Wish it was more.
Yeah, because again, he's only there for a couple seconds or whatever. But yeah, the Black Order, Proxima Midnight specifically, is sort of like realizes that wait a minute, Ravengers,
Thanos.
this is all a decoy. Seal up the collection, right? And T'Challa realizes, man, I gotta get somewhere safe. So that I can find these seeds of Genesis. But then he stumbles across a Wakandan spaceship.
And it turns out, because like the whole idea was that, well, the whole thing was that Yondu was like, yeah, we wanted to return you home, but it turns out Wakanda's like all gone now. Turns out that wasn't entirely true. And now, what really happened was that they've been out looking for him the whole time. And even going into space to find T'Challa.
Yeah, even leaving, there's even a message from his father being like, T'Challa, if you're out there, I hope you're doing fine, like, you're like the brightest star out of a million stars, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And T'Challa is very sort of angry about it, and, he gets even more angry because, plot twist, Nebula double crosses T'Challa and hands him over to the Collector. And all the Ravengers and T'Challa are sort of stuck in a bit of a jail cell. T'Challa gets a little angry with Yondu for lying to him. Yondu is pretty much like, hey, listen, you wanted to explore the stars. I gave you that. Like, your place is here with us, your family. And it's like, you're not my family,
Yeah.
And the Collector pretty much has plans for T'Challa just to be part of his collection. Although he does get a little bit annoyed by him and has screw it. Let's just dissect him, right?
But they're like, why?
Let's just dissect him and sell his body for parts or whatever. I don't care anymore. But meanwhile, Nebula turns out to actually he pulled the triple cross.
Yes, the classic triple cross.
Yeah, and and it turns out like Nebula, I don't know why I blanked out on her name for a second. I'd already talked about this with T'Challa because she apparently already knew that the Collector actually wanted T'Challa all along, and sort of her and T'Challa worked out a plan, so that way they could be able to get the seeds of Genesis.
Yes.
And so T'Challa has a fight with the Collector as the others escape with the Black Order on their tail and stuff. And we see the Collector has sort of these little gauntlets that allow him to like sort of call up a bunch of like relics he has, and he uses those to help fight. I mean, he's also super buff, so it just
really buff. Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Like they really designed. They really went out with his buff design. He's even got like that whole robe where it doesn't really cover him much, but it's just like, yeah, but you can see my abs though.
Yeah, it's a fur coat.
Abs. Yeah.
Yeah. He's really letting it out. He even pulls out Hell's helmet. Hell's helmet. And just starts chucking all those
magic swords.
Yeah, at him. And Yondu shows up to help.
And they both tag team him into a submission.
Yeah, and they sort of lock him up in his own little cell while I forget her name. It's the collector's
Karina.
assistant. Yeah, yeah. She very much like in the original Guardians of the Galaxy, where she very much doesn't like being
The servant.
a servant to the collector. Sort of does the same thing, but instead of using, say, the Power Stone or whatever to explode herself on accident, and she lets everybody out of their cells, and they all sort of get some little one-on-one with the collector.
Mm.
And yeah, everybody sort of Yondu.
By the way, you forgot to mention that Thanos tries to 1v all the whole the Black Order.
Well, I think it's the big guy. I forget his name, and Proxima Midnight, because the other was all get taken out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and he gets a little help from Nebula, which, by the way, they were like not in talking terms, those two.
Yeah, because they still aren't really like that great on terms, and Thanos sort of showing that he wants to protect his daughter, and Nebula going back to help him. It's a nice. I guess it is sort of like a nice little moment of like, oh, they're bonding again, right?
But the episode ends with them going back to Wakanda and like celebrating the return of the, I want to say prodigal son, yeah, the prodigal son, and them just exchanging stories like here and there, and like another person being like, Thanos, I'm pretty sure you just want to do genocide.
No, it's not genocide. Why does everybody keep saying that?
It's going to be efficient.
It's not genocide if it's random.
It's just efficient. And I find it funny how Nebula is like, Dad, like, shut up. Bueno. Sí.
¿Como las 3 vamos o 2:50?
¿Qué horas es de entrar? A las 3:30, ¿verdad?
3:30.
Como las 2, las 3, ya. Okay, bye. And it's basically it's like a whole family reunion kind of thing. It's these two families that T'Challa has brought together, who he's made with, and the episode you think ends there, but turns out no.
Yeah, there is one last bit, obviously, where Ego, who, if you recall, was the one to tell Yondu to go find Peter,
and those other kids.
Yeah, decides to show up and find Peter Quill, who's working at like a fast food restaurant.
Was it Dairy Queen?
I don't know.
I want to say it was Dairy Queen, which is funny because it's the same one where, at the beginning of Guardians 2, Ego took his Peter's mom to go for that flower. Yeah, it's right around there.
But yeah,
that's where it ends, because even Iwata's like, these guys are screwed.
Yeah, because the Watcher very much just like I think he even says like, "Yep," and this will lead to probably the end of this world, because Ego's plan probably gets put into action, and sadly, T'Challa isn't able to stop it in time.
Mm-hmm.
So I will. That's why I think I do sort of like this episode, because even if there is like a, oh yeah, this is like a slightly better universe in terms of like, oh, Thanos isn't gonna go through his plan. Everything sort of seems better out here in space and stuff. However, just because we got rid of one cosmic villain does not mean that a whole bunch of other ones aren't out there about to.
No.
Of
course not. It's because like it's one of those like you get one like. Just because you got rid of this one person doesn't mean like the whole thing is gone. There's still, it's a power vacuum kind of situation. You had Thanos, then you had the Collector, now you have Ego.
Yeah, and with Ego being a fucking planet, that's gonna be hard to take down.
Mm-hmm. Well, no, they have to go inside of him. Remember?
Yeah, and even then, they had to have Peter help out because he was. Mm-hmm. Part Ego.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's where this episode ends, and it's a very good episode.
It's a very good episode. Though I feel like, again, for me, I feel like it needed to be a little more interesting. I'm not saying it was. Like I said, I thoroughly enjoyed this episode. But it does kind of slag it through the middle, in my opinion. Not to say that it's inherently a bad, again, not a bad episode. I think it made sense and told a very good story, but it just slogged a little bit there. Chadwick Boseman acting, voice role was pretty good.
Yeah.
He was probably one of the better ones that we're gonna see so far in this series, and it was great to see him again as T'Challa. Sadly, he's no longer with us, but this is pretty good. This is pretty good.
Yeah.
I don't know. What do you think of the episode?
No, I liked it. I liked it a lot. I guess I kind of understand what you mean by not being as interesting.
Because for me, it feels like it meanders a little bit in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, like I said, it's still a pretty good episode. It's still a good episode.
Yeah, for me, I think what I feel like saves it is sort of that ending where it's like, yeah, sure, T'Challa as Star-Lord has changed a bunch of events in the MCU, but
yeah,
we still have this one thread. Like, this was like that. Oh, this ripple effect of consequences and choices that is gonna screw us over.
Mm-hmm.
So it's very much sort of like a oh wow moment.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, like I said, I still pretty enjoyed the episode. Not saying if you don't, that's whatever. But it's I feel like it's generally a good episode. But now we head on to the third episode, which, it's the best one they have, dude. That was a fun ass thing they did. Like, holy shit, that was crazy.
Yeah, this one I think definitely really like goes into like
the first two. The first episode was really like, okay, this is us like setting you in,
to the idea of what if, right?
And the second episode's like, okay, now this is how crazy we can get. Third episode, okay, chains is off, balls to the wall, let's go.
Yeah,
let's do something insane.
Yeah, because this episode,
it was a whodunit.
Yeah, because it's a murder mystery where a lot of the Avengers candidates, because this takes place
before the first film, the first Avengers movie.
Yeah, this is in between during Iron Man 2, Thor, and Incredible Hulk, which in the timeline all take place within the span of a week or whatever.
Which is actually canon too.
Yeah, it is. So it's pretty much all Iron Man and Thor,
Hulk, Black Widow, Hawkeye, and any other character that was up for the Avengers Initiative. But essentially, it starts off from the one scene from Iron Man 2 where he's eating it from a donut.
Yeah.
And, Iron Man's going through his whole, like, I'm about to die phase.
Yeah.
And, in the movie, he gets injected with something to cure him. Turns out it actually kills him.
Yep. And Black Widow is sort of put under arrest by S.H.I.E.L.D. because she was the one that gave him the serum. Mm-hmm. But Nick Fury obviously is like, this is weird. You wouldn't... I do not think you would have gone out of your way to kill Stark. This doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
I need you to figure this out while I go handle other things. Which, includes finding Thor's hammer and seeing Thor.
By the way, we get Coulson back.
Yeah, Coulson's back. He's sort of just hanging out.
Yeah, being weird.
As usual. We see the recreation of what happens in the first Thor movie. He goes to the site and Hawkeye has a shot on, he's up in his little canopy with his arrow ready to go. So, just in case he needs to fire.
But he was told to like hold it.
Oh yeah, just hold your fire, Clint. I want to see what happens here. But his arrow goes off, and Clint is legit like, I didn't shoot that arrow.
But he didn't have, and we'll talk about this, but like, it's clearly looked like he shot the arrow. One, because he's Hawkeye, he's bow and arrow, But you see the arrow like no longer in his hand. How did that arrow that was in his hand get into Thor?
Yeah, and they sort of lock him up too, and he's very distraught. He's like, I never like misfire. I just, that's not me. I can never do that. And Nick Fury wants to talk to him, just sort of explain like what happened, Clint. All right, I need you to tell me what happened here. But when he gets in there, he sees Clint stumped over, and it turns out
Clint's dead.
Yeah, Hawkeye is dead.
He is dead.
And now it's like, now Nick Fury's pretty much just like, that's 3 Avengers candidates dead.
Yeah.
Well, technically, because he wasn't even exactly sure about Thor, but they do talk about how he basically is 1,000 years old. They see in his blood samples and stuff. Like, he's very confused because he doesn't think Clint committed suicide because he had a family. Like, there's no reason he would ever do that. It's like, this doesn't add up. I need to figure things out. Meanwhile, Black Widow has gone to Betty Ross.
Which, I'm surprised they remembered her.
I mean, yeah. I'm pretty sure it's not the same actress voicing her.
No.
But
slightly different design, too.
Slightly. I'm assuming just, because we do see Mark Ruffalo here as...
Yeah.
Instead of Edward Norton, so it's probably to coincide with that as well. But yeah, Black Widow's here to talk to Betty Ross, who knows a lot about bioengineering and all that stuff, and wants to see if maybe she can find out what exactly killed Tony. And it doesn't seem like the chemical didn't even get into Stark's body at all. As they see under the microscope, like the needle was like ruptured, like almost like something like shot out of it, right? And Black Widow is very much like, this is just strange. Maybe it's nanobots. I don't know. And she does a little bit of noticing that, like, is there somebody else here with us? And Betty's like, no.
What are you talking about? No one's in here.
The picture that pizza delivery stuff. I don't know who left that. That was probably a student or something. I don't know. And Nick sort of calls Black Widow and tells him the bad news that Clinton's dead. She's very upset because they're friends. They go way back. Yeah, Budapest and stuff. And Nick pretty much is like, listen, I need you to find Banner, and you two gotta get someplace safe. Because it seems like they're targeting my candidates for the Avengers. And Black Widow sort of like, I don't think I need to look that far for Banner. Because, he's hiding out here. And,
because of course, this is Incredible Hulk.
Yeah, and much like in the Incredible Hulk movie, the army shows up. General Ross shows up and, wants to take Bruce alive. And,
someone shot at Bruce.
Yeah, someone just shoots Bruce in the arm, and like, Black Widow's like, "Yo, what the hell, Ross?" And it's like, "Was that? I told you guys to hold your fire." It's like, that wasn't, who shot that? It's like, it wasn't me.
It wasn't me, sir.
Yeah, clearly someone shot him, and that's where Bruce hulks out.
Yeah, he hulks out and starts fighting.
Yep.
Betty Ross tries to calm him down, but something's happening to the Hulk, and he essentially blows up.
Yeah. Meanwhile, while all of this is going down, Loki shows up.
Yeah.
With the he has like
the ice thing
from the ice giants and stuff, and he's pretty much like, I'm here to avenge the death of Thor. All right, because one of you guys killed him, and I think it's only fair if I kill all you. And Nick Fury tries to, does, his best negotiator mode. It's like, yo, listen, all right, whoever killed your dude has killed 2 of my own, all right? We are not enemies here. And listen, we got to work on this together. And Loki's like, tell you what, if what you're saying is true, I want this guy, whoever's killed, I want this dude in front of me by the end of tomorrow. Like the next time the sun rises or whatever.
Yeah.
And that puts Fury on a time clock. Natasha is just hanging out, just going around trying to find clues. He's in the library, just like hacking into Shield's database, trying to figure out, okay, what's going on here.
Clearly, it's all about the Avengers Initiative, and then she finds out something, and then because she found out, she gets taken out.
Yeah, whoever has been killing these Avengers candidates finds Natasha and takes her out. But before she gets killed, she leaves a message for Nick Fury saying, "It's all about hope. It's hope.
Mm-hmm.
It's all about hope." Which Nick sort of plays over and over again. And Coulson's very much like, so they've been targeting all these Avengers and candidates and stuff. Like, what do we do now? But the thing is, Fury's like, they didn't count all the Avengers,
mm-hmm.
and that's where he sort of looks at his old
Captain Marvel. What was it? Locator watch?
No, it's a pager.
Yeah,
the pager, the contact Carol Danvers. And you think he's gonna do that, but he's more sort of I think I know, because he sort of like puts two and two together about this whole hope thing, and he decides to drive off, heads to San Francisco, to the grave of Hope Van Dyke.
Yes, because that is the change of What If. What if Hope became a SHIELD agent, which leads to her death, and leads to the killer being Hank Pym.
Yep. Who I'm pretty sure basically his costume is very much the Ant-Man costume, but combined with the Yellow Jacket costume.
Or just simply Yellow Jacket costume.
Yeah, but with the Ant-Man helmet though.
True, because it is a different helmet.
Yeah. And, Hank Pym pretty much blames Nick for, basically killing his daughter. And he tries to fight Nick, but very quickly realizes that Nick Fury is doing a whole lot of...
What the fuck are you?
Yeah, he's like doing all these flips and stuff, and it's like, you're spry for a man your age. That's a little weird. And now he's teleporting and he's creating clones of himself, and it's like, what are you doing, Nick? What's going on? What did you do to me? And it turns out it's Loki. Nick has told Loki about all of this, and Loki has now pretty much taken his fun with Hank Pym and is going to take him away and probably kill him.
Yep, because he wanted a body for a body, eye for an eye.
Yep, but afterwards, Loki's like, you know what? I feel like staying here on Earth for a couple more days. To Nick's surprise, like, what do you mean by a couple more days?
And by the end of the week, he ends up taking over all of Earth.
Yep, he's at the UN, sort of broadcasting his speech from Avengers 1. That, like, humans were made to be ruled, and I'm just here to fulfill your destiny. And we see Nick Fury and Phil Coulson with the
grave. The
coffin, caskets of all these heroes that they wanted to recruit for the Avengers. Mm-hmm. And it's sort of like...
Which I find funny how each of them have their emblem on there.
Yeah, like there's like an apron or canvas or whatever on top of the caskets that all have like emblems of them, of the things. Which I'm like, man, it must have. I'm surprised they were able to whip up a emblem for Thor so fast.
Yeah, it's like it's like the joke they make about Lex Luthor in Batman vs Superman, where he had like their logos ready for each one. Yeah. It's always like, what? Why would Nick already have? He didn't, like, because Black Widow and Hawkeye were in consideration. They weren't, for it, but they were like on the list.
Yeah.
But aside from that, he has a speech where like, there's always a chance to avenge, and there's always hope, which is reiterated by the Watcher at the end of the episode, because Nick Fury finds Captain America.
Yes, because in the timeline, finding Captain America is like the last thing that happens at the end of that week.
Yeah.
Right?
Because he was considered dead.
Yeah, they didn't even know that he was still out there.
Yeah, so he was always an outlier in the Avengers, listings.
Mm-hmm.
And I love the way it ends, because he's like, because like, he wipes it. He sees the shield. He's like, "Good to have you back, Cap." As Captain Marvel's right behind him, I was like, "Yeah, let's go."
And she's like, "All right, so who we fighting?" And which probably leads to a sort of a new Avengers team with Captain Marvel, Captain America, and probably a bunch of other heroes. Falcon, maybe.
Falcon, War Machine.
Yeah.
Because remember, I think by that point he already took the War Machine.
War Machine suit. He already had it. Yeah.
And who knows? Maybe both Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch.
They weren't around though.
No, but later on, I'm saying.
Yeah, later on they probably would have picked them up.
Yeah.
But yeah, that is kind of crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And I do agree with you. I think this is probably the best one yet. Like this one, I think really goes in like, okay, this is like some crazy shit.
Oh no, yeah. I feel like at the same time, the animation kind of holds it back because, like, I don't hate the animation for What If, but there are times I'm like, I really like it, but there are times I'm like, oh man, I really don't like it. Like Hulk's whole look throughout the show was not great.
I don't know. I thought it was fine.
Well, it's probably because when it was blowing up, I was like,
yeah.
There's too many like it just did look very distracting to me.
Yeah.
But essentially, I think this is the episode that tells you like, okay, yeah, we're gonna go do more crazy stuff like this because this has always been like what ifs, territory. Like, how crazy can we go?
Mm-hmm.
What's the most interesting one? I really like the whole who've done it because the way they played it out was so good. Like just saying, yeah, it's Hank Pym, but the way they revealed it was so well done. Because at first I was like, it's probably Hydra because it would be Hydra.
Yeah, like the people that are, putting Black Widow in handcuffs are the Hydra dudes.
Yeah,
the Hydra members in S.H.I.E.L.D. So it does sort of like, maybe it's Hydra. Maybe they know about the Avengers Initiative and the what if is that they decide to go and take them out.
Yeah, before they're informed.
Yeah, but then you get like just weird like inconsistencies like with the Hawkeye thing. It's like, how were they able to kill Hawkeye? Like no one even let them in. Like Phil even like tells like the guards like, did you let anybody in here? It's like, no, we didn't. It's like, how could they kill Hawkeye?
Yeah.
How are they able to do that without even like breaking in?
Or like any evidence of like like any kind of form of infliction, like no shots, no anything. Like the person left no way of finding out how he died.
Yeah.
And it's like, how did he pull that off? And then like later on, the Hulk thing. Like how were you able to kill off the Hulk? Because like remember, Hulk couldn't die, so he went inside of Hulk to kill him. Because like throughout the episode, when the reveal was done, they showed like how he was able to to stop to kill everyone going to Tony's heart. I'm guessing he shocked Clint, fucking expanded the Hulk's heart, so it caused him to explode. So on and so forth. Did they show Black Widow? I don't think they show Black Widow.
No, they don't show it. They only just show that he's fighting her.
Yeah.
With Thor, like it shows that like Hank Pym caused sort of like messed with Clint's hand to like make him let go of the arrow to just kill him.
Yeah, and like because like when that's what I'm saying, like the way they revealed it, because at first I was like, that's probably Hydra, but then later on when she was like getting ready to fight someone but we never saw who it was, and for me I thought it was Ghost from Ant-Man 2. Maybe she wanted revenge on everyone, even the S.H.I.E.L.D. agents. And then when she was like, it was all Hope, I was like, oh, is it Hope Van Dyne? Is she the one who's causing? And I was kind of right, but the wrong the wrong Ant-Man Wasp character.
Yeah, I was definitely leaning towards potentially I don't know, like, because I think I was kind of close. I was thinking of someone that may have stolen Pym particles.
Mm-hmm.
When thinking about how Clint died, it's like there's no way that anybody could have killed him like that unless they shrunk. But I was thinking, but who would have been able to steal Pym particles?
Yeah, which it had to be, Hank, because he's the only one who actually, one, already knows how to make the paint particles, or two, like Hydra, because they would probably have weird access to find out how it is, how it's done.
Mm-hmm.
But like, I don't know, it was such a good reveal, and just the way they handled each death. Personally, I feel like Hawkeye's was probably was probably the best. Not saying because it was the bloodiest or anything like that, but it just like, it really, because his death really threw you out the loop.
Yeah, because you're thinking at this point, like, okay, like you can kind of see where all, like, how the audience would think they died, but with Clint, it's like a very clear, like, okay, this is just,
okay, what the fuck is happening?
yeah, how did this even happen?
Yeah.
Like
Hulk, yeah, he blew up from the inside.
there's not even a noose in the room. He couldn't even hang himself. You know?
Yeah.
There's no way Hawkeye couldn't kill himself. Who killed Hawkeye?
Yeah, and even they were like, yeah, we didn't let anyone in. We are like, literally, you can check the tapes. We let no one in. And it's like, but how? How did you? Like, it's one of those things that like I'm saying, it throws you out the loop. You didn't expect it coming out of nowhere.
Yeah, it completely changes whatever you were thinking, whatever theory anyone was thinking at the time, where it's like, okay, all right, you can kind of see where maybe how, like, Tony and Thor were killed, but then with Hawkeye, it's like, okay, this changes my entire perspective. I don't even know anymore.
Yeah. Jeez, but just like, it was done in such a way that was so good. Like, some people that I know who haven't seen the What If episode yet, I was like, all I'm saying is that it's a whodunit, because if I told you anything, it would ruin it. And and they were like, holy shit, you were right. I'm like, no shit, I was right. Mm-hmm. But this is hopefully what we get more from What If, and especially from what I've seen down the line, it seems like it's very much likely. Aside from that, you got anything else to say about this episode?
No, I like I said, I agree with you. I think it's probably the best one yet.
My only issue probably would still be that some of the voice work still needs to be done better.
Yeah, probably, but I just chalk it up to probably a lot of the actors just don't have that much experience voicing, reading out lines and recording for a voiced line. They're probably more comfortable acting it out, and they just find it weird to just read off a paper or whatever. Yeah.
But aside from that, I feel like these two are probably great episodes, especially the third episode. That was just amazing. I really had nothing else to say. Just like, wow, that was just a great episode. Anything else for you, Jay? You said you're good, right?
No, yeah, that's it for me.
All right, guys, thanks for checking us out. This is the end of the episode. This is where we tell you all the good stuff to help us out. We are on social media, on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. We are very much more active on Instagram. At the Geek Centurions, and if you go on the Instagram, you'll find a link tree to all the podcast sites we are officially a part of, like Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Pandora, all that good stuff. And we also have a link to our YouTube, where all you audio listeners out there can put a face to the voice, and you'll be able to still support us in that form of way with YouTube. You know how it is. Like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell icon, all that good stuff. And we have a Patreon where you guys can help us out in any form of way. We'll take it, and any, payment really can. And yeah, What If is turning out to be another massive hit from Marvel.
Yeah, it really is, sort of living up to the expectations of just sort of a What If show, like, it really is sort of doing a lot to go, let's just do some crazy shit.
Let's do something that people wouldn't expect.
Right, yeah.
Anyways, that's it, and hopefully we'll pump back for more of this. It's been me, your boy Eli.
It's been me, Joe.
And we are the Geek Centurions. I hope you guys have a good one. Peace.